Hey everybody, welcome back to the Espresso Outlet YouTube channel. And I posted this new machine the other day on Facebook. Got a little bit more hype than what I was expecting because I didn't have a video done yet. So this is the brand new Turin MC3 Espresso machine. It's kind of a unique machine. We'll go over some of the features kind of top to bottom and just talk about it here in a minute. So to begin with, just some of the overview. This is a thermoblock espresso machine, and sometimes that can kind of get a bad name because people get used to seeing the thermoblocks, stuff like the Bambino. Even though it's an extremely popular espresso machine, it doesn't preheat the group head. So what's really interesting on this espresso machine is there's actually a couple of small heating elements on the inside. When we do our video removing the body and looking inside, you'll see a thermoblock actually behind this panel, and then it feeds up to the group head. So it's really nice. If I was to pull this out right now, this is nice and warm, a little bit uncomfortable to the touch warm, so perfect for brewing espresso. Now, if you had something like the Bambino that I just mentioned, it's not the end of the world. You can run just water through it to preheat your group head. It's just a mess, takes time, wastes water. So it's really nice to have that heating element built in. But with a lot of these other espresso machines as well, they use the thermoblock or another thermoblock for the steam, and it's usually kind of weak. And in the MC3 machine, it has a 2.5 liter boiler on the inside. That boiler, it provides steam as well as hot water. You can turn it off, so if you're just pulling black shots, you're wanting to save energy, really easy to turn off. We'll do another video on all the functionalities of the display. Let's take a quick look at the steam. These are actuated via these levers. Had a couple people concerned about the height of this machine. It's a little over 14 inches, a little above 18 inches right here, which most American countertops are going to be 18 inches or higher, but there are a few that are just a little bit less. So something to keep in mind. For those of you that are worried, you can pull these off. We might look into seeing if we can get some shorter knobs, or you can always modify it. Probably not something that you want to do, but to get the steam going, it has a 3-hole steam tip, no burn arm, so I mean it's full steam right now and I'm touching it, but you do have the silicone grip to move it around. Pretty nice steam pressure for that dedicated steam boiler. 3-hole tip, and it has a nice little slot. I like the way that these are designed. They've been doing this more and more. When you have that condensate inside your line, you just kind of tuck it down in there, blow out that water real quick, and then get to steaming your milk. So I like that design. And then on the other side, a little bit difficult to see at this angle, we do have a hot water tap used for Americanos. I also like it to, every once in a while, just kind of rinse out my portafilter, and you can wipe it out with a towel. Preheat a cup if you want to preheat a cup. A lot of people, they don't find a lot of value in the hot water tap, but I believe once you have it, and if you use it, you're going to find it as a very useful feature. Again, to actuate it, it's just the other arm on and off like so. Let's go behind the machine for a second. It has a removable lid for your water reservoir, and you're able to pull out this water reservoir. Very high quality reservoir in my opinion. Some of them are just really cheap. This has a really nice water tank. It has your float on the side for knowing when the machine is out of water, and it just fits in like so. Really nice design. Again, some of these are just built so poorly nowadays. Now the next feature is something that I've not really seen done on espresso machines before. This is a vibratory pump. It is listed as direct plumbable, but that's a little bit misleading. On our website, it's going to say that you can plumb it from like an external water tank. So that's kind of cool. I'll show you how it works here in a minute. When it is set this way, it is going to be on the tank mode. And then when we flip our valve around, you can actually see that we have this little water fitting. And I have just a short pipe right here. When we plug it in, if I was to put it into, like example, this water, it's actually going to draw water through this into the machine. So you can have, let's say like a 5-gallon purified bucket beneath your coffee bar, and it's just going to keep supplying that machine. Something I've not seen. Kind of hope a lot more machines do this. It's really cool that it's actually built into the machine itself. Kind of continuing on, this is a functioning cup warming rack, as long as you're using the steam boiler. If you're not using the steam boiler, it's obviously not going to get hot. It does a really good job of heating up the machine. As I mentioned previously, your steam wand and your hot water are actuated with these levers, really easy to use. This is a 58mm portafilter. This is the portafilter that comes with it. Standard double basket, dual spout portafilter. I do have, this is from my Windoji, but like any Rocket ECM style is going to fit this machine really well. It might not lock straight forward, and that's due to the thickness of these tabs. Usually the thicker they are, the Rocket ones are a little bit thinner. This is more of a La Marzocco style, a little bit thicker. But you can go with a bottomless if that's something that you want to get as an aftermarket. Have a push button on off, really nice. A lot of times there are switches. I know that a lot of brands are going to the push buttons. And at the bottom we have a pressure gauge, and it kind of seems back and forth between the machines. Some manufacturers, they're all about the brew pressure gauge. Since this is a thermoblock machine and we probably kind of don't care a whole lot about the steam, you're either going to have steam or not. Your recovery time isn't really quite as important. So what they did was they opted to go with the pressure at the group instead. So it's really nice if you're trying to dial it in, understand how many bar shot you're pulling. Kind of has a little range in there that is pretty nice. I always like it when they're a little bit higher, just the way they designed the machine. It didn't really make sense internally. You'll probably use it in the beginning and maybe dialing in some new beans. Otherwise, you probably won't be looking at it as much. Continuing on with some of the features on this MC3, it's all controlled through this touch display. And I always get a little bit leery when I see touch displays on machines. It's usually the first thing to go bad. You're really just seeing it in pretty much everything nowadays, and they have just dramatically increased the quality of them. I have talked to the manufacturer about it. Their specs on this are really good. Haven't really had any issues with not being able to click something. You can see at the top that we have our steam pressure. I'm going to do a video on how to set all this up, but you can adjust your steam pressure or turn it off right here. So you have a menu, you just have the back button. The middle row is going to be all of your main functions. So you do have two programmable shots. It says single and double. You can do whatever you want. These are all user programmable, so they could essentially both be different volumes, like a Ristretto and a Lungo, for example. And then in the middle, you have the manual button that's not going to have any sort of pre-infusion. It's just on or off. And at the very bottom, we have our menu settings. So you can set your temperature and all your shot times. So just real quick, let's just click the single button. I'll show you the pre-infusion and the pause. Let's click single. It's going to do, I believe, a 30 ml pre-infusion with a 3-second pause, and then it will continue the rest of the shot. We'll probably stop it early. Oh. Right now it would be wetting the puck with 30 ml. Pause, 1, 2, 3. And it would continue brewing the rest of the shot. Now, when it reaches the volume that's in there, I believe it's 60 ml, it's going to stop, which brings me to my next point and kind of a feature of this machine. So on the inside, it has a flow meter, and that's not something that you really see on machines of this price point. It's this little flapper wheel. As water goes through it, it moves some magnets. The magnets count how much water is going through the machine. So instead of it having some sort of a time dose, like a lot of like maybe the Brevels have, this actually has a volumetric flow rate that goes through the machine. Now, don't get confused when you hear that flow. It doesn't have flow control. All it's doing is it's counting the flow that's going to the group. You're not able to adjust the pressure. That's more of a flow control type thing. I think the terms kind of get confusing, so I wanted to point that out real quick. So we really can't conclude this video without steaming a little bit of milk and pulling a quick shot. I am going to prep it off screen as I don't have a grinder on this side. I'm going to get that ready, and then I'll show you pulling a shot. Okay, so I got everything prepared for our shot. Just a standard 18 gram dose. This is slightly old coffee, so don't expect a lot of crema. Putting it in crazy because I'm on camera. I have my Akaya scale, and we're just going to use that to check our volumetric out. So let's tare it, and it's set on the first drop mode. We're going to go ahead and use the single shot volumetric. And the reason that we're going to do this is we're going to see how much it puts out and kind of where to stop it. That's going to give you a good idea of where to set your volumetric shot. So Let's go ahead and click single. It's going to do the pre-infusion and then a pause. Followed by the extraction. So we're into the shot, almost 30 seconds. We should be about done. It should shut itself off here in a sec. So that single shot extraction, it's kind of set a little bit long. That's where you're going to want to go into your settings. We'll have that setting video here soon, and you'll want to make those adjustments if you use that flow meter on the inside. Now you can also use the manual. That's kind of what I'm used to doing, but having that set up, tune it in, is going to be really nice. Next, let's do our steam for our latte. You can see that it's actually on the right side. Some machines, they put them on the left. To begin with, I'm going to put it down in that slot. Get any of the condensate out of the line. Sorry if I'm at kind of an odd angle and the technique is bad. I'm going to start by putting it just slightly below the milk. And I just kind of goofed. We're wanting to introduce a lot of air without all those giant bubbles. This is oat milk, so it's usually a little bit more bubbly. Trying to get that vortex going. Got quite a bit of steam power if you don't mess up. All right, so we're back to our crema lacking shot, but we have our milk that is a little bit foamy. It's not going to be very pretty. But there we go. We have our latte with our MC3 espresso machine. Okay, so there you have it, a quick latte on the Turin MC3. You can check out the specs, the heights, everything on our website. I'll put a link below. Also consider liking and subscribing. I'm going to do 2 follow-up videos to this one. The first one is going to be taking the body panel off, kind of taking a look at the components on the inside. We've been doing that a lot more lately with a lot of our products. And then I'm going to do a more in-depth of the control screen itself. I think that's about it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.